You're listening to Eureka on Monocle Radio, brought to you by the team behind The Entrepreneurs, the show all about inspiring people, innovative companies, and fresh ideas in global business. I'm Tom Edwards. Now, conventional wisdom says that to stay warm and dry during the cold winter months, we should layer up. But what if the clothes we wear could actually heat up and cool down as our bodies require? Well, Florian Miguet and his co-founders at French startup Climate in Lyon have invented thermoregulating technology that uses embedded sensors and smartphone-controlled algorithms to make clothes with a personalised heating system. Climate has partnered with brands like Carhartt, Eddie Bauer and Gordini, amongst others, to create products ranging from heated base layers and motorcycle gloves to workwear and ski wear. And it was recently chosen to supply combat fatigues for the European Union's Armistice programme. So, can one company outsmart the elements? And how does it all work? Well, here is Florian to showcase one of the company's latest products and tell us more.
This one is it's a hunting glove. So from the brand, it's a Danish brand called Arkila. That's a glove which is waterproof, lightweight. What we have is these were eating gloves, but what makes it a bit different is once I put my hands in, the system starts to kick on automatically. So it's like your AirPods, right? That has to work without thinking of anything. You should not have an app, you should not press a button. It should work, and if you forget your glove somewhere during your lunch break or something, the system switch off automatically. So having high-tech technology with taking in account the conditions, environment you are in and the activity you are doing, but having a very ease of use, that's absolutely key. For example, for skiing, the same glove will have different patterns. It means it will probably hit you when you're on the ski lift, and the idea is not having a passive but a product which is fully personalized, adapted to your needs. It's measuring pretty much the temperature of your hand, and what's happening is once it's reached your comfort temperature, the system switch off and then switch on again. So you don't have to feel anything, but the goal is always to keep you comfortable and not too hot, not too warm, and not too cold. The goal is always to have this, you don't think about it, but you're just nice during the day. I'm born in the French Alps, quite a remote place, very close to Les Arcs. I grew up in the middle of the mountains, and very early sports has been quite important for me, and I've been an athlete. I've been professional in my early days and for handball. But very soon I found out that it would be too hard. I was not just gifted to be in national team, and so I decided to do some studies, and I did a double degree. I had a MSc in France for sports management, and I have a BBA from Finland. I used to play also there in Helsinki, so business and sports. That has been pretty much my background. And quickly I've moved towards the sports industry, working towards a big chain as a main buyer for France and Southern Europe, called Intersport. And then in 2009 I moved to Hong Kong. I lived there for 7 years. It was at CS Las Vegas. I was reading some article about smart apparel, getting more and more ready, and contact the companies which we're talking about, trying to implement into the brands I was working for, and find out the people were not ready yet, but definitely they had gold in hands. What you could see was product able to pretty much to monitor your body, biometrics, and maybe your stress, but they were not focusing on the key benefits of an apparel to either make you beautiful or to protect you from the elements, protect you from the sun. I've been lucky enough to start the journey with my co-founder, Dr. Julian Guerite, PhD from Portsmouth University. And he had this vision to create a second skin, able to cool you down when it's warm and heat you up when it's cold outside. I moved back from Hong Kong. Going back to France, I decided to be in Lyon. For one key reason is e-textile engineers. In France, you have two areas, either Lille or either Lyon, and everything related towards more innovation was in Lyon, and decided to come here. It seems to be quite basic, but it took us 4 years to put product on the market. Due to the complexity of having an IoT connected product with textile, and that's why there is very few people able to do that. When you do wearable technology that costly, because it's a software, hardware, and textile, connected textile. That's like 3 layers of complexity and 3 layers of cost. But that's how we made it happen step by step, with being solidly backed with our financial partners. France is a bit different than other countries. You don't get a lot of money when you raise capital, but you have always the capacity we call BPI, French Investment Bank, which leverage part of the round. So public money has been very generous, but also, I would say, very smart the way they are also working. And I think BPI is pretty good and pretty impressive, because that's something you can really leverage early. Key moment for us was 2020, when we reached the market with a brand called Odlo from Switzerland. It's a sportswear Swiss. It's equipping a couple of Olympic teams, and they are credible in this outer world. And we launched the technology with them. We got an award at CES Las Vegas. We got an award at ISPO Munich, which is pretty much the main fair for outdoor and sports in Europe. And immediately we got approached by motorcycling. We got approached by professional workwear. We got approached by people from even defense. We were outsourcing most of the work and development outside. Just after the first COVID, that was fall 2020, we acquired a lab and we run with a thermal chamber, wind turbine, and that has helped us to discuss with the partners and say we are not selling just electronics. We are selling also a lot of knowledge, and we co-develop with the brands, and that's allow us to have a real stickiness with our partners. And so it's not a question of price, but it's a question of getting product which we call it fit for use. When we do a product, it's like almost like a cake. The most important is what the product of the brand is doing. And I would say the smart eating technology on the top, it's like the icing. It does 20-25% of the job. 75% of the job is done to make sure that the product is constructed properly. And once we integrate the system, we want to make sure that, for example, that in our case, the product, the heat is not vaporing out, for example, it's trapped. So we work a lot with brands. We have standard on shelves panels, we call them, different types. They integrate model A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever the needs. But then after, we're going to work on the recipe, how the product have to be insulated, that need to be with leather or with synthetic. The ambition from day one was to create a second skin. And I think that still continues. That's why I say I think it took us 8 years now to be recognized on the heating, and the next generation is cooling. We have been selected earlier this year, for the next generation of combat uniform for Europe, amongst big guys like the German Rheinmetall or Safran, those very big companies. And we're in charge of thermoregulation and the cooling part of it. Military, athletes, and then I would say users. That's the plan for the coming years. As long as you don't interfere what the people like about clothing, which is soft, comfort, or how I look like with it, and you implement invisibly benefits, yes, that's how things will look like. It could be just also a formal shirt, but why if you have a special treatment, for example, on the armpits, it doesn't sweat? And those are the benefits that I think more and more will come. Or the nice dress for dinner, and you decided today with your mood to this dark blue, and the week later orange. Things will go a bit that way, as long as it is affordable and do not need a special care.
That was Florian Miguet, the co-founder of Climb8. To find out more, head to myclimb8.com. That's myclim and the number 8.com. And that's all for this episode of Eureka. We'll be back at the same time next week. Do look out for The Entrepreneurs, available every Wednesday. The programme was produced by Laura Kramer, with audio editing by Jack Dewars. Special thanks to Ian Wiley for his report. You can listen again and find out more at monocle.com. That's where you can join the club and subscribe to Monocle magazine and read more about better businesses each month. If you'd like to contact the team, email Laura on lrk@monocle.com. I'm Tom Edwards. Goodbye, and thanks for listening to Eureka.